Did you know that in 2025, the United States GDP is projected to hit a massive $30.6 trillion? That makes it the largest economy in the world, shaping global trade, technology, and finance. But what does that really mean? In this video, we're diving deep into every part of the U.S. economy, using facts, data, and statistics straight from sources like the IMF and OECD. Let's get started. So, what makes this $30.6 trillion economy tick? Let's break down the key numbers. The GDP per capita, which is the economic output per person, is around $87,850. The economy is expected to grow at a solid rate of about 2% in 2025. Now, you've probably heard about government debt. In 2025, it's projected to be around $37.36 trillion, which is about 122% of the total GDP. The government is expected to bring in about $9.58 trillion in revenue while spending around $11.55 trillion. But where does all this economic activity come from? The biggest driver, by far, is you and me. The consumers. Consumer spending makes up a whopping 68% of the entire economy. That's everything from your morning coffee to buying a new car. Next up is investment, which accounts for about 17.6%. This includes businesses building new factories or buying new equipment. Government spending itself contributes another 17.2%. And then we have trade. The U.S. exports about $3.27 trillion worth of goods and services, while importing about $4.17 trillion. This means the U.S. buys more from other countries than it sells, resulting in what's called a trade deficit. Let's look at the different sectors. The services sector is the absolute giant here, making up over 80% of the GDP. This includes finance, healthcare, education, and retail. So, most of the economic action is happening in these areas. The manufacturing sector, which includes making cars and electronics, contributes about 9.5%, and government and public services make up the remaining 10.8%. Now, let's talk about growth and jobs. The U.S. economy has been showing steady annual growth between 2 and 2.7%. In the second half of 2025, quarterly growth is expected to be even stronger, somewhere between 3.8 and 4.3%. What about jobs? The unemployment rate is hovering around 4.1 to 4.4%, which is relatively low. The strongest job growth is happening in sectors like healthcare, finance, and transportation. You might also be wondering about inflation. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, shows inflation at a manageable 2.4 to 3%. The Federal Reserve is actively working to keep this in check, although things like tariffs and energy prices can cause some fluctuations. Let's touch on government finances again. With spending at nearly 38% of GDP and revenue at about 31%, there's a gap. This gap contributes to the national debt. So, where does all that government money go? Major expenses include defense, healthcare programs like Medicare and Medicaid, big infrastructure projects, and social programs like Social Security. Looking toward the future, technology is a huge catalyst. Investments in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and data centers are boosting productivity and accelerating GDP growth. Economists forecast that by 2026, the U.S. GDP could reach nearly $32 trillion, maintaining a steady growth rate of around 2%. So, how does the U.S. stack up globally? In 2025, the U.S. economy is number one. To give you some perspective, China's economy is second at around $19.4 trillion, followed by Germany at just over $5 trillion. The U.S. economy alone accounts for about 28% of the entire global GDP, making it the world's largest services-driven economy. So, to recap what we learned today, the USA is the world's largest economy in 2025, primarily driven by consumer spending and a massive services sector. While it faces challenges like a trade deficit and government debt, strong investment in technology continues to fuel its growth. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, comment below, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world economy. And let us know in the comments which country's economy you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching.